Okay, I am live. Hi, everybody. Mr. Basic here. These speakers look so good, but unfortunately, they're great, but unfortunately, they are not what I was looking for. Do I have some reverb on my voice here? Yeah, let's turn that down a little bit. There we go. Is that better? Haha, I still have some reverb, but I hope it's not annoying. We'll see when somebody comes in the chat. This is just a little bit of an informal thing. So it's just to sit and hang out and seeing if anybody comes around. Hey, Darren T. House, right on. Nice to see you here. This is just a informal hangout. Um, Last time I was talking about doing a challenging myself and publicly, so maybe others could jump into on the circuit. And this last week, on doing basically doing more with the circuit than I generally do. So is what it was about. So it's about using more sessions, and that's something I have a hard time branching out to. Is having a song be more sessions long. So I decided to go 8 sessions long, but I'm only 5 sessions into that right now. So I didn't really get there. I didn't have that much time this last week to do any sort of studio type stuff. It was all like family stuff and busy type stuff, and work was a lot more intense too. So yeah, no excuses, I guess, but that's just the way it is. Um, but I'm not shying away from it. I'm still working on the circuit, and everything else has kind of gone um, into it'll happen in the future, kind of like this over here. Yeah, that is. I just infinite time. I need it all to stop. But then I just have it stop forever. But yeah, or Inception. Like I could go into a dream and just be there, and that's what I like about lucid dreaming. And I've actually had night before last. It was just I had the most amazing time in my dream. It was just like it was, right there at the beach, and just I could feel everything, and it was perfect. Uh, sometimes dreams can be just as real as real life and give you experiences you never had. Um, but yeah, uh, that was interesting. So you got your new track up, Darren. Cool, awesome. I'll have to go check that out. Yeah, yeah. I haven't even had time for YouTube. Everybody's streaming today, though. I've noticed everything's popped up, um, and so I just spent some time stopping by other people's streams. Now, as far as making tracks goes, yeah, that's kind of like what I'm trying to. It's like I don't know. I'm working against my nature, I guess, because I don't really want to spend the time it takes to put out a full track, or something that's finished, anything that's just plain finished in a polished sort of way, however I might consider polished, myself as an individual. I don't even go there. And that's kind of like what has been my problem with DAWs. What DAW are you using, Darren? Or what's, I guess, I don't know. I mean, are you, shit, I wonder if I could go and see and not mess up the stream. Here, hold on. Let's see. Let's go to my subscriptions page. Okay. And I will check out. Uh, Nonstop chill. I have too many subscriptions now. That's the problem is I haven't see Matthew Hodson did something. Man, I've missed everything this last week. Everything. Oh man. But it's the holidays. I'm yeah, yeah. So yeah, cool. Yeah, Novation is just on fire. I think the SL Mark III. Of course, I don't know. For Ableton, it's not really the SL Mark III is not really that much of um, a huge innovation or whatever because I've had the launch pad and the launch control. Of course, see this really this really makes Ableton fun. It makes live fun. It's just like it changes everything. Uh, and it's like there's so many pages of script that you can put on it. It's just kind of endless. But then your limitation, just like anything else, is with the flipping between pages to get through all your devices, and that becomes kind of an issue. Yeah. Yes, the push. Yeah, the push is definitely it. But I made my launchpad into an almost push by using the Launchpad 95 software, and that was good. You turned it into a sequencer and all that way, and it was pretty buggy for something that just one guy came up with and put out free on the internet for everyone to use. It's just plain amazing. But yeah. Oh, you've been playing with the DFAM too? Awesome, awesome. Yeah, yeah. I have not touched it in the last couple weeks. But hey, Studio Geek, how's it going? I mean, I've barely touched it, meaning maybe like a half hour or so at the top. So it's just messing around, even without even looking at what I'm doing. Whatever. And I mean, I want to always know what I'm doing, like no matter what. Uh, and and that's kind of like counter to the message you get about Eurorack and about synthesis online, is that it's just kind of like it's like an organic beast that you just never know what's going to come out of it, and you could just make a little tweak and it could go off in some crazy direction. Well, not if you know what you're doing. And so, like, after you know a module, you should know, like, or if you know a synthesizer, you should know what it does what a certain knob is there to do, because it's there to do something. Otherwise, they wouldn't have designed it that way, you know. So look at me, I'm already ranting, but I'm ranting about basically, I don't know, my own. That's why I want to actually play live and show people on a modular, even that I know what I'm doing, and not have so many situations where it's just like oh well, I'm you know yeah, sure, I want to explore while I'm up there to some extent, but you want to give people something intentionally. It's kind of like the bushy way, bushido. um if you I mean, you don't ever swing your sword unless you absolutely know you're going to strike your target. 100% sure you're going to be successful, then you swing your sword. Otherwise, you don't. And I think that's kind of doesn't apply to music that way. And I think in creativity, obviously, artisticness is being artistic is kind of the other way around. Most of the time, it's just exploration, and that's why it's wonderful. And I love exploring. But when it comes to then performing a show, I at least want to know my tools. That's the deal. 'Cause I think we all kind of drag our heels on knowing our equipment. But I'm dragging my heels on the circuit partially because I'm trying not. I'm not wanting to go the direction of actually making tracks. I want to go the direction of like playing more live, but actually it's really good for that too. So, and I'll show that in this 8 session project that I'm working on right now, that I'm 5 sessions into. Yeah. Yeah, obviously there's a balance, but that's the part that I feel like I'm fighting against the most is like I want to fight against the the whatever is out, whatever might come of this. I want to make it more. I want to control it a little bit more, and then make it just basically seem like it's an organic beast. But to me, I did that on purpose or something like that. Oh, the Novation circuit. This thing right here is by Novation. Um, it This is the first in the circuit line. What it basically is it's two synthesizers and four drum sounds all together to make up a groove box that you can sequence it all together and write on there and play live. Um, all of those parts uh, like that. Yeah, and and see, what I'm talking about sessions is that there's 32 sessions here. These 32 buttons here in our session mode, these are all sessions. Like this one that I did here, I believe I made a video of my daughter spinning around for over 3 minutes on a thingy in the park, and this was what came out of that. And this was 4 sessions long. So the first session, is that too loud? And then, so I have a little variation on the melody on the next one. And a lot more of the drums and stuff. I did more with the track afterwards, but this was the circuit part of it that built it up. Build up to a drop. And then this is the same thing. It has the same thing on it, build up to a drop. But it's also a slightly different melody. And this is also a different melody on this fourth one. And all those I just played in live, just first time, just blah, 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 blah. And if it's good, just keep it. And you got your variations on your different sessions. But I didn't do anything like that at all on this new one that I'm doing here. Actually, I might as well, since somebody asked about the circuit, I might as well just show everybody what my my 8-session try, how it's going right now. 5 sessions into it, might as well, because I guess that's the deal, is I'm all about like showing my progress, especially on something like a live stream, instead of just showing the end product. But what I'll do is I plan on putting it out as just a video, not a live, but play it live on a video, then post the video, and I'm still going to do that when it's done. But it starts out with this, and all I've got on here is a drone. And this is also shout out to Bo Beats. This is all these sounds in here that I'm using right now is a sound pack made by Bo Beats, and he made from scratch all the patches, all the sounds, all the synth sounds, and then made all the drum samples. It's Coffee and Beats Volume 2, so there's a lot of coffee related sounds in the drum sounds, or in the rhythm sounds anyway. But so to start out, there's this really cool, let's go on synth 1. Yeah, this really cool droney thing. See, he made that. That's just how he made it, and I just put it on a note. But that's the Novasynth inside the circuit that you can tweak on the computer as much as you want. Yeah, and that's one thing that we have in common. It's a coffee thing. But I can just like go into oblivion, and then what I do is then I start a kick. That's kind of not very loud, huh? Mixer, I'm gonna kick up a little bit. But then we go from that and animate that a little bit, like record, animate it. then when we're done with that, we go to the next session, and it'll be like, and that starts. I just came up with that. Everything's really easy when it's in scale. And then I can make other drum parts. And time them well so that they come in like every 8 bars or every 16 bars. And then I'll do this little thing over here on drum 4. But I should put FX on it, huh? Like a delay. Yeah. And then in the next session. And hopefully, the next session will go with this one. It'll be a little quieter. Oops. I didn't do it in time either, see? That's the thing about changing from session to session is you got to do it in time. So, or you do the shift one and it goes just along with the timing that, it'll go right on time and not wait till the end of the session. But unfortunately, you can't just press it at any time and it'll wait till the end. It'll come in at the wrong time if you press it a couple seconds before whenever it decides to come in. I didn't say that very well, but anyway. So then what I want to do is I want to like take down the tempo of this after I do a little bit of I have this cool sound there. It kind of rips the oscillators off of each other. Anyway, but yeah, I want to take the tempo down to a cool 70, and then I'm going to do a little trick, a little doubling trick. And next session, I just went to another session. And then, so basically, I can go back up. I think this is what I was trying to do. No, it was yeah, it was like I was supposed to go fast. What was it? 140. Yeah, see, I'm totally unpracticed at how I'm going to do this. But then you go to these patterns. Oh. See, I didn't even do that right. But then I've got the drums going at the same pace, but then I slowed that down. Then I can do a little part. Then sessions. Just change the beat up a little bit. And that's as far as I've gone. And then basically my idea is to go back around to the drone at the beginning, this drone thing. And that's it. But yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Working like this, I don't really feel inspired by just working in the circuit, trying to come up with a track. It's not inspired by something in my life or anything like that, and I think that makes a difference. Um, I don't know. Yeah. So how's everybody going? Simon the Magpie, good to see you. You've stepped out of the shower, I see now. Simon also shaved today, just like me, but he did it online, live, um, which was cool. Yeah. And those other guys that are in your stream today were also cool. Were in the Google Hangouts, got their studios going too, and they did great while you were gone in the shower. Okay. I'm making a video, the easiest way to make your own music. Yeah. All right. As opposed to using other people's samples, um, or something like that. I just came up with that. It's perfect. Yeah. Manchester, UK. Wow. Yeah, awesome. I so much of the online, or at least YouTube fervor towards synths and modular and Eurorack and stuff too, and just electronic music and playing of electronic music, and places where there's venues and gigs. I think the UK is like huge right now. Maybe they always have been, but seems like everything's going on in the UK. So like you could definitely have venues to do your stuff, whatever you do, even if it's like just Ableton. I just saw some interesting thing about that today of some famous people who are literally had an Ableton live session with one clip, and played it live to just thousands of people, and they were insanely happy, just like any other concert. You know, I don't know how to feel about that exactly. I mean, that's cool, but then they showed it to us, and then we could see it from behind the stage, and then it was like, oh well, you guys gave away your secret. um, because there's people doing things interesting that are interesting behind the stage, too. And then a lot of us have started to like try to respect that more than the way anybody else plays their music for crowds. But discuss. There's no answer to any of that. Uh, I just found the Novation Circuit Groove Box with sample import. Yes, that is it. Um, but Novation has also come out with the thing about the circuit though is that you can't really, unless you really get into it and are also already familiar with using soft synthesizers, you're not really gonna it's not gonna help you learn synthesis like say a different synthesizer like this is, like this that has all the knobs in the same place no matter what, dedicated knobs, dedicated controls that are one knob per control, even a lot of the time. Um, uh, that's a different thing than this kind of groove box. The synthesizers that are in here, you can only change in the computer, and these things that go around and around, these knobs, they just go around and around. They just keep going and keep going. There's no visible value on these. Um, and that kept me from being interested in it for a very long time. But I like it for the things that it is instead of a synthesizer itself. I like it for being a groove box. But yeah, if you're looking for a synthesizer, the fact that it has two synthesizers on it that have 6 voices each, that's amazing in our market where you can't get that for cheap now. But you have to understand that you're going to have to look on the screen and use your computer to uh, to use the synthesizer put it on the circuit, or and then have it on the circuit and use it. It's a different sort of thing. So what Novation has come out with as well is the mono station, the circuit mono station. It's also a circuit, but it's the second one that they came out with. That's like this, only it's just a little bit taller. Um, and yeah, and it has an actual synthesizer that you can dedicated knobs that it is what it is. You can see what you're doing. You can learn how to design sound design and use a synthesizer that way from the ground up with the mono station, and it's worth it. And it also has CV and other things and improvements on the sequencer that's on here too as well, since it was a later thing. And I might get one at some point in the future, and I really recommend it. It also has the nice silver knobs like this. So hey, DB Cisco, nice to see you here. Oh yeah, you're the one who said that. Okay, you've been here. Yeah. Modular is the way. But I haven't really done much with mine yet because I need screws for these 3 modules here. They didn't come with it, and I'm gonna get some knurlies. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go down to the hardware store, and I still haven't done it yet, and I'll go do that. But yeah, this week is going to be my first time messing with a Eurorack. Hey, Adamski, how's it going? Nice to see you here, Adamski A. Everyone check out his channel too. It's really good. As well as Darren's. Darren's channel is amazing. More amazing than most in terms of quality content. Yeah. And there's not. And so yeah, basically, what was I saying? Yeah, modular. It really is the way to go because I mean it shouldn't be seen as less accessible, although it is because of its power format. Yeah, if the power format changes, I think Eurorack might be even more accessible, and I don't know how that could ever even change. It's just a pie in the sky sort of thing, and I realize that. But yeah, but I'm doing good. I'm just hanging. I want everybody to come up with their own topics, kind of. I just played a little bit of the circuit on 5 sessions of my 8-session challenge for myself. Hey, Inky, how's it going? Yeah, sorry you're late. Yeah, go back and watch it afterwards, and you'll see me going through 5 sessions of circuit. And another little thing, my spin pop video is still on here. That and I have some other things on here. This was supposed to be. This was supposed to be just like background music. It ended up being like a really cotton candy video game soundtrack sort of thing, so it's not really good as background music for a video. That was a long time ago, though. What else is there that I haven't pushed off here yet? This was my Waikiki dreaming video. I could even play that again. I could play that anytime on here. So yeah, that's just awesome. The circuit is the best thing ever. There's people online who have talked about having sold their circuit for some other gear and really regret it and keep talking about regretting it. And I've thought about that it wasn't the thing for me, and then I'm gonna phase it out of my studio and not and and just give it to somebody eventually and stuff like that because it's so limited in certain ways. And it's true, but that doesn't take away from what it is, which is something unique that doesn't exist anywhere else in any other gear. So there you go. Kind of like electron gear. And I've not dipped my feet into any electron gear myself. But yeah. On the subject of modular, uh, yeah. I do enjoy the limitations. I do. And actually that's the deal. And I mentioned that in a video where I used my this thing, my marimba, how it's just a G major scale, and I've had it for ages. It's been like my only instrument a lot of times when I was just like out in the woods for months at a time and stuff. And so I'm just really comfortable with it. And the circuit is a lot like that, especially if you just put it on a scale like this. It's just those 8 notes of whatever scale, and and it allows you to see what the inversions are to each of the chord progressions, each of the keys that you're working with, more clearly in your head, just really easily, where you know that there's a fourth and a fifth and a third and a sixth, and kind of like what those are going to sound like, and you get. Mm, you teach yourself music theory in ways by limiting yourself uh, note wise. Melodically, I was trying to say. uh, Monostation. Yeah, still missing a monostation. Yeah, yeah, totally. I want the thing is, okay, what I'm dreaming is I want the SL Mark III, and I want a circuit on one side and a monostation on the other side, and a peak. So yeah, I am really liking Novation right now, but it's just it's gas, and it'll go back down, especially during winter NAM. Like, what does everybody think about winter NAM? Oh my gosh, it's not. No, it's not even coming. It's not even coming yet. It's like it's like a ways away. But yeah, yeah, peak. Yeah, the peak is awesome. I thought it was awesome at the beginning, and not many people were talking about it. People were just saying it's expensive. It's expensive. Well, you don't even know like where its value lies. That's why you're thinking that. Like, you don't know how unique it is. Uh, well, but then you can get really caught up in how unique something is, and that it's not about that, except when it's about certain things. Um, and then it turns out to sound that good because of it. I think there's certain things that sound really good, like the peak, in the same way that the peak does, and one of those is the analog four. The Electron analog four sounds a lot like the peak, um, because I think it's because of the precision oscillators. I think it's because of, yeah, just having that precision, but then also the analog format. So I like VAs. As you can tell, I feel like this was not only a good purchase, but it's I'm in the realm of now of like not gassing for other synths that come anywhere near what this is, because I'd rather just have another one, and I would go out and get another one, because right now they're $350 some places for a System 1M. You know, yeah. Yeah, I got on Simon's live stream and said I was gonna live stream. Yeah, yeah, because I just this morning I got up and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna live stream today. But then it turns out like everybody's live streaming. Acoustic Stevo is live streaming. Simon the Magpie was live streaming. Then while he was live streaming, like two other people, the 16th bar, the guy with the big modular thing that's just getting started. On that, but he's got professional things going on, and he's pretty cool too. And then I was just like, wow, when am I gonna get to live stream today? I don't because I'm still watching all these live streams. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read the chats right now. Novation or making better gear at Empty says yes. 2000 and whatever Nova. Yeah, I like rack stuff, so I always thought about the Supernova, but I heard about that thing where it like beeps. Well, one of the models, I think one of the Supernovas, like the Supernova Pro or something, or not the Pro, it like beeps when you change parameters. And obviously it's not through the audio signal, so that's not an issue for a lot of people, but that's what the music guy at my music store said once. Yeah. Base Station 1 rack, yeah, and those have in the last couple of years, those have been online a lot, and it only takes up 1 U, which is cool. It's just like all knobs. Okay. Inky is inviting herself to everyone's for tea and bass. To Darren and Adam, yes. Whiskey and bass. That's awesome. Yeah, I got the bass going on. It's my mini brute. The mini brute is amazing, and you know what the mini brute is? It's actually the best first synthesizer for a kid. No, it's the best first portable piano for a kid. Instead of getting them a portable piano or a Casio or something like that, they should get a mini brute. Sure, you have to put hook it up to speakers, but once you do that for them, it's just to turn it on and learn synthesis without even knowing that that's what you're doing all your life. So yeah, I think it's best. And there's things like the Blip box coming out for kids, but like, see, kids don't need that styling. It's a marketing ploy. It's all that stuff. It's about those studies that they did, what they think kids want. But like, this is more straightforward than something like a Blip box, like for anyone, a kid or anyone. So I think easier to learn and stuff like that because everything's does a specific thing and it's labeled just like this knob per function. I think that's the next video, synth talk video, prepared video I'm going to do that would be like helpful information, is just talking about knob per function and that whole idea and how much it changes everything. Or dedicated knobs, I would say, because knob per function, you're just like you're inviting argument because a lot of synths are not quite in so many ways. Yeah. I have lots of B-roll I could show of my daughter playing the mini brute, and she really loves it. Yeah. But she loves to put the faders all the way up. Is the thing is like I keep on putting the noise fader back down. That's the deal. Is I have to keep on bringing the noise fader back down for it to like sound better. But she doesn't think so. So, but she's 3. She has good taste actually, and perfect pitch and all that stuff. She likes to sing the tones of the vacuum cleaner perfectly. She like picks out the tones and sings. It's pretty cool. Just like me. Bass cider. uh, that sounds good. Bass anything sounds good. It makes it sound better. It also makes things sound better. Reverb. Yeah, that makes everything sound better. I love my RC505. Actually, that's another piece of gear that I have hardly dove into in terms of what you need to do to learn it, to learn to use the settings correctly to do your different things that you do. There's a lot that goes into it, and I haven't learned it, but I love to use it as its dual multi-effects unit. Like it has a multi-effects unit coming in, which I'm using right now, and it has a multi-effects unit for everything that's already been recorded on it as a loop coming out. So two two different ways that way. I'm looking at the chat. Looking at the chat. Yeah, DX7 programming wizard. Yeah, well, I don't think anyone should be. That was the problem with the DX7 is that it it made people have to do that. See, I came out of a programming environment, and I mean, I programmed way back in the day, and I did it as a hobby, actually for fun, and I'm completely sick of it. It's just the most tedious thing. So yeah, I'm glad that something like the Digitone exists, and I think maybe she could probably uh, probably like that, something like that a little bit more. And I love FM synthesis, just but yeah, I think we can really get started on just, I don't know, tweaking more of the UIs with the different types of parameters that were classic in like the DX7. And I think they just did that in a software synth for it wasn't Native Instruments. I forgot what it was, but yeah. But I like the Digitone, and the Mo DX I think is actually a little bit better interface than the DX7 used to be. But Bo is going to come out with a video soon on that as well, on FM synthesis, on teaching FM synthesis. Because and I think it's going to be on the Mo DX more than the Digitone, I'm sure. But the Digitone, I think, has a lot to offer, even though it has 24 parameters. It's down to 24 parameters. Um, that's still a lot of parameters in my book. The thing is about FM synthesis on like the DX7, a lot of those parameters they had are things that you don't need, that you don't necessarily want to do to a sound necessarily at all, ever. And they put it in there because they thought, well, maybe you do. And so it's our job in the future now to pare that down in terms of FM synthesis, give ourselves what will actually change the sound in ways that we um, can wrap our heads around in the first place. Akemi's Castle is the bomb, and I want it. That's the kind of FM synthesis that I'm into. Stuff like the DFAM and what it does, and the Akemi's Castle is something I'd really love to have. Like, yeah, and there's one on Reverb.com right now for sale. Yeah, it's still expensive, as far as modules go, but it's huge, and what it can do for you is huge. Yeah. And also Akemi's Taiko and Dinky's Taiko are cool too. But yeah, Mylar Melodies has an Akemi's Taiko, and along those lines, I also sweet Darren has one. Yeah, um, I I think I'll definitely have to at some point if I can get my hands on it sometime in the future. I don't see that as something I need, and there are things that my studio actually, well, I don't know, that I need. What do I need? What do I need anyway? What do I ever need? That somebody said that earlier on Simply Synth on the forum that I look at. uh, that they just mentioned at the end of their post. But that's not gas, or that's not something I need. It's just gas. And then it made me think, like, okay, yeah. What's need and what's gas? Like, it's never really a need. And does it ever really get just gas? I don't know. So I like what Mylar Melodies. I just saw this last week, what he's done with the Akemi's Taiko, and also from my biggest epiphany of the last week actually was from his video, from watching his video, because I've always scratched my head about quantizers. Um, when I go into the the whole idea of what quantizers exist out there in Eurorack, and what types I would get, because that's a big deal as far as like to pair with the DFAM, uh, and also the idea of just doing, an LFO into a VCA, that so it's basically, you have a range of notes and they're going up and down a scale, instead of just having a wave that's going like this from an LFO, and you create, and you don't even need a sequencer that way. And that's a cool thing to do too. But so along those lines, what I caught from his videos, he has an ADDAC intuitive quantizer. That's ADDAC, ADAC, intuitive quantizer. And that is the mother of all wonderful quantizers for doing certain types of things, which is the type of thing that I want to do. It's what I want um, to be using as a quantizer, because it has 4 lanes of quantization, and then you put them all into one scale that you have these little buttons on it that are a lot like Critter and Guitari's keyboard, round little buttons for a keyboard. And it has a little keyboard sideways on it, and it has its patch outs for the 4 um, tracks. And basically, you can sequence things totally differently. You can do everything different about all of these 4 tracks, except for have them all in the same scale. And you can change your scale and change it to whatever you want, make your own scales on the spot live. And so, best quantizer ever for Eurorack, ADDAC intuitive quantizer. I'm sure there's nobody who's ever even argued uh, otherwise. But let me know if you do. Yeah. So down the road, that's expensive. The good things are expensive, huh? So down the road, when I feel like I need to quantize things for some reason, which you will, because that's the thing about Eurorack. It's you hit a wall after you've done everything you can do without a quantizer, and I already know that from other people's experience. Yeah. Yeah, it's a sound machine and weird idea thing. It takes you in different level, but you need to transpose. Yeah. Yeah, transposing is a cool thing, and that's on the circuit. You can transpose on the spot, and that's what I like to do. The transposing on the spot is a great thing to do. Like, if you already know a little bit of music theory, especially about like thirds, fourths, fifths, and stuff like that, and how they work together. Like say, I'll just start this thing, um, and you go to scales, and a fourth up, like it's on this first one, and do a fourth up, fourth fifths up, and then back to the first. It works. Well, that one's a little complicated because it has a lot of other notes in it, but you know. But I did that for a jam last January, and it just worked perfectly. Kind of like the old rockabilly sort of stuff, rock steady type of thing. 1 4 5 and back to 1. It's a tradition sort of thing. It's like more even than a genre. It's an old tradition. But I forgot what it is because I didn't learn classical music theory. Like my brother's an expert at that because he's an actual. That's what he does professionally. Is he's a music teacher, and has really good explanations on music theory that I forget every time that he writes it down on a paper. It's like all you need to know is right here. And then I'm like, okay, so how did you wait? Say that again. um, I've always been kind of resistant to music theory, but I realize that it is just like learning the system. That's just a system that was created in the West or for the West, bled into what the West knows. And what we think of as modern music isn't really modern music. It's still actually um, something that we in particular are um, familiar with, and so our ears like these scales, and growing up with other scales makes you like those scales better, even though to us they sound like wrong notes and stuff like that. It's the truth. Uh, it's just a system made by somebody. It's not a universal geometric mathematic um, truth. This musical scale that we're using. It's just created, and it's one of many. What was I even talking about? Yeah. Uh, the monostation with its CV is really it really makes it the bomb. It makes it awesome. Um, and yeah, I thought about the base station a couple years ago when I was looking at monosynths, but I just this is just a bit more. Mm, I don't know. I just found it a bit more for me. I don't want to say because everything I want to say, it sounds like I'm like going to bash it or something, and I don't want to bash the base station because there's nothing to bash about it, especially after the new updates. If people don't already know, it's now paraphonic as well, so it's competing with the mono station that way. But I don't think it really is because the mono station can just like do amazing, crazy things that no other synth can do. Um, and Nick doesn't really, from Sonic State, doesn't really portray it that way, and other people are just kind of like, well, yeah, I still just don't understand it. It's quirky. It's half of one thing and half of another. Well, that's just your experience. That's an individual thing. So you have to like push that, whatever that attitude is, aside and like look at it for what it is. And just like any other synth, I think that it looks more natural than something like this, but this came first. And so now everybody's like, well, it sort of looks like a circuit, but sort of looks like a real synth. Well, no, it's just that they made a real synth with this cool new grid thing, you know. So look at it that way. It's like when you watch the movie first and then read the book, and you already have the characters in your head how they actually look, even though that's not how they actually look in the book, because they don't look anything like anything, and they would have looked differently if you hadn't watched the movie, and you would have just thought of them differently. Anyway, has nothing to do with anything except it's a good analogy for the circuit and the mono station. House Nation. I need to look up House Nation. Okay. I will look up House Nation. Is that like a documentary about the beginnings of House or something like that? Ordained. Acid House. Yeah. I learned how to do acid house. Um, and yeah. Uh, and what I did, um, the the proof in the pudding there is what I did when deciding to learn house is my project was um, my tribute to Mark Doty. And so if you look at my video, that's my tribute to Mark Doty, then that's my foray into learning how to do the acid bass line and doing an acid bass line. Even though I don't necessarily say that, I think uh, that's what that was. That was me working on that whole idea. And I've really been researching house, and I have house radio stations going on on my 8-hour work days that I can listen to music pretty much most of the time. And so I'm always just looking at what are the elements of this house song, of this house song, of this house song, and these are the songs that get on the radio, get played, get noticed, and all that stuff all around the world. And so that means something, although I also understand that means something else as well. The start of house music, House Nation. Yeah, so house to me is basically, I don't know, I can sum it down to it's all about boots and pants. You need your boots and pants to do house music. Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants. And you need to understand the rise and fall, because there's a boom a chick and there's a tska boom. There's a boom a chick, boom a chick, boom a chick, boom tska boom tska boom tska boom tska boom tska boom a chick, boom a chick, boom a chick, boom tska boom tska boom tska. And then when you've got it all going and you add the shaker, it's boom chicka rock chicka boom chicka rock chicka boom chicka rock chicka boom chicka rock chicka. And you have to just change those every 16 measures is necessary, and every 8 measures is better, and every 4 measures is best. I'm just joking. It's not that simple. But yeah. And you don't even need build-ups, and you need breaks, but you don't necessarily need build-ups in house music. Yes. Yes. Mike Dunn. Mike Dunn. Magic Feet track back in mid 80s. Let me write that down. Mike Dunn. Now, I love the 80s. I'm still stuck in the 80s, but I was a kid in the 80s. I was 1 through 11, age 1 through age 11 in the 80s. And so I didn't actually get a lot of the library of what, it's like, who is it? What am I listening to? And I've delved back into it since then, but yeah, I'll definitely look at that. Yeah, Future Jacks. DJ Pierre. Cool. Yeah, I do remember that. Before dance, we suffered. I don't know what you're getting at, Nikki. We suffered before dance music. I don't know what was before dance music. Well, that's the thing is, no, it's a disco. And well, the thing is, house music for me, why I like it right now, I think, is I got back into in more later years in more recent years, just recently, is just oh, not just more recent years. The thing is, I did Dance Revolution, and I was really into it. And so from all of that, had no choice but to be influenced by disco and what they call new disco, I guess, which is electronic music that's disco inspired. And that was the thing about disco, and disco brought that. It was because of the electronic music that disco kind of, so yeah. So when it goes back to funk and disco flavor, I think it's the best. And that's why I think house is best when you have a lot of swing on it. I have 62 swing on this one here. You can hear that. Oh, that's too fast. Yeah, see, for 115, I have 62 swing, but you know what I realized? There's when messing around with tempos and stuff, that when you go slower, you take up the swing. When you go faster, you take down the swing because the swing is more prevalent. I don't know. have a hard time showing that all at once, but right now, but yeah. So there's not just a rule as to like the best swing ever. It actually is dependent on the BPM too. Uh, but and there's also another reason why I want the SL Mark III, or why I would like it as an upgrade to this, is because everything has to have the same swing, right? And I like to put swing on things, but I also like to have a build up to a drop. And when you have a build up to a drop and you have the snares going, it can't go. That's what this does, and it's wrong. It's best, actually. What you actually need is you need it to go. So you need one track to have swing on it. What you want for a build-up, you want boom. So yeah, so you want everything to swing except for one thing. You could use the SL to do that because it's per track, the swing values, which is awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Detroit techno was disco influenced. Yeah. Well, everyone talks about Detroit house. Yeah. A guy called Gerald. Let's see what time it is here, everybody. 1:40. I've been on for an hour. All right. Um, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here pretty soon. What's everybody else doing for the rest of the day today? I mean, there's been so many streams on, and people usually do that. And Marshall, I noticed he did that later on in the day last Monday, did his Moog One Mondays, and I watched that later. I can actually listen to stuff while I'm at work, and so I can, especially the podcasts and the live streams, I like to listen to at work. Sometimes after the fact. So keep your live streams on, everybody, if you live stream. Yeah. Gerald apparently had something to do with the Pacific 808 tune. Okay, Pacific 808. Jeez, you guys, you're schooling me here. Totally schooling me. Voodoo Ray. Voodoo Ray. I am all about it. Okay, LFO. I know it. I knew LFO before I knew what that referred to. Yeah, cool. And yeah, Nightmares on Wax. All right. I've got my homework cut out for me. I really have an empty house to do any live. Yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, well, I really have an empty house to actually come in and have free time to do anything for myself. And so I don't. And so I haven't. This whole last week I haven't done anything. I haven't touched anything. I just need to just dust it all off again and wait for next week. No, I'm gonna get some screws before I worry about it. I don't want to mess with it in some weird way before I get it right and do it right. I want to do it right because this is really sacred to me, this stuff. I mean, this is seriously sacred. Like I'm gonna go into ambient music and just ambient soundscapes and not even worry about music probably a lot. Uh, so I'll But I also like house music, so I think I probably could do the house music for a little while too at the same time and kinda like I do realize I have a star in my chat. I have a few stars actually, but yeah, definitely. You're definitely a star. And Studio Geek. Yes, Studio Geek's live right now, and he is definitely a star as well. And he's been Studio Geek has been doing a post every day, post him singing a song every day for a while, and that's amazing. It's been amazing and very inspiring. Yeah, yeah. So, but what I'm gonna do this next week is I'm gonna just go ahead and finish the rest of this and post the video eventually um, of that, and yeah, cool. And then yeah, so I'm off to work soon, but I'm gonna check out Studio Geeks live chat and maybe some others I think are gonna be going on as well. Um, I hope you have all a wonderful day and not got to 100 before I can do track writing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not gonna worry about YouTube for a little while. As you can see, like this whole live stream thing, I think is like if I was worried about YouTube, I wouldn't be like I wouldn't want to do this because I'm taking away from any subscriptions I have that were like consistent. See, I haven't had consistent content, so I guess it doesn't matter. That's the deal. It's like I need to know what I'm doing here. And I don't know what I'm doing here on YouTube yet because I'm experimenting with this stuff and I don't know exactly what's going to be the most important thing for me to be posting of what I do and what is going to always be consistent, like something that I'll always be doing no matter what. So therefore to have something to post. It's all very interesting stuff to think about and I love to think about all this stuff just all the time. This whole idea of like broadcasting ourselves. And I think YouTube is getting worse. Everything's getting worse for YouTube, and it's getting more controlled and scary in various ways in terms of like um, us not being able to choose as much what we see, uh, like the other platforms, like what I hate about the other platforms. And so like I kind of want to help it maybe stay or be more of something else. Uh, yeah, there's that. Oh, thank you so much, Adamski. Yeah. Thank you all for coming, and I'll see you all again next Monday, rain or shine. Yeah, because that's my attitude. I'm gonna stream no matter what, just so I can be here for anybody who wants to talk about synths and stuff. And we can talk about whatever's going on. Although I just don't feel like there's much going on right now, probably because my gas is low. Like I don't have as much gas for everything right now because I think I know what I'm doing. So yeah. So jam on everybody and get ready for January. Um, and think about what you're gonna do for January and just like turn on a recorder and jam every day. All right. I love all you guys. Take it easy. See you next week.